Today on the Home of Play podcast, Sony's new state of play and our thoughts, PS4 hits new sales milestone for the console, and Spider-Man is only coming to a Sony console near you. Now let's hit that intro. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to episode 22 of the Home of Play podcast, where every Monday we come to you and we bring you all the latest in PlayStation rumors, news, and reviews, and that's because we're PlayStation fans. I'm your host, Steve, and with me I'm joined by the king of platinum trophies himself, Christopher.
Hello.
What is going on, Christopher?
Not much.
You having a good week?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah?
It was okay. Chill.
Yeah, your feet
Didn't do
hurt?
too much. Feel okay. A little sore.
A little sore.
Fly flying around my condo. Pisses me off.
You
Flies in my
that.
view,
Yeah.
and then as soon as I try to focus on it to kill it, it disappears.
You have the best house for housing insects that I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know how they get in.
Remember the year with the ladybugs?
Oh, the ladybugs. That was self-inflicted, though, because I didn't close the door all the way.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I walked in, and coming from your place, actually, I walked in my dining room table area, windows just covered, the curtains are covered in ladybugs. I think I was up for like 3.5 hours. That was leaving your place, so it would have been late.
Yeah.
Up for like 3.5 hours trying to get rid of ladybugs. I had no vacuum because I have a Roomba, so it's not like you can
You just-
on the
I
curtains.
don't want to see a Roomba on a string that just like slowly starts propelling up the wall.
So I'm literally with like a Ziploc baggie, kind of flicking them into the Ziploc baggie.
Well, because you can't kill them, right? Because they stink.
Oh, look, you can see stains on some of my curtains.
Oh,
because
no,
they do that bleeding, as
Yeah.
their self-defense thing. It was a mess. Luckily, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the worst one, and then
The only thing that
now I get flies that are trying to get in the door, and I don't know. Maybe I
that's
gotta put
always
a
this
strip or
time
something.
of year. They just
The cool air, maybe that's what they're attracted to.
they freak out. Well, for me, I find in fall they really get crazy because they want to not die of cold. So
Yeah.
they start trying to like as soon as you open screens, doors, windows, they pile in. It makes my dog lose his mind.
Ugh. I'm tempted to put something, but I don't know what I could put to stop them from. Maybe I just need better like weather stripping or
Did
something.
I tell you how emotionally those flies destroy my dog?
No.
Oh, he'll lay there, and it's always seasonally, but he'll lay there, and if he knows a fly's in the house, he starts, you get that twitch where you think somebody touched you. He does it for flies, and it bothers him so much. I've seen him swing his head up, like he just came out of like the deepest sleep. He looks at his butt, and he's just like, did they touch me? They touched me, didn't they? And he'll leave. He'll leave the room. It ruins his evening. I've never seen a thing affect a dog more. Like, you just see in his eyes that he's dead because a dirty fly touched him. I'm like, how first world is this dog that I've adopted? So enough of that. Enough of Chris's life, if you will. If you like this and would like to support the Home of Play podcast, please make others aware through the power of word of mouth. Every month we're growing, and it's all because of you lovely gamers helping to spread the cause. If you could also subscribe to your podcast service of choice, rate us 5 stars on iTunes or any other podcast that allows it, it would be extremely appreciated. If you have a burning question, comment, or complaint, we want to hear from you. Please send us either of those to our email address, homeofplaypodcast@gmail.com, and we can read your questions on the show while we play Spider-Man exclusively on our Sony consoles. Today on the 22nd episode of the Home of Play, we have 7 news articles to discuss. But before all that, as always, let's get into what we've been playing this week. Chris, what have you been playing?
I haven't been up to too much this week. I've been playing Rage 2. I finished the storyline finally on that one, so now I'm just doing the trophy collecting on that one. Didn't care for the storyline as much as the first one. Second one, I kind of just felt like I was just going through the motions of what they wanted me to do. It didn't even feel like it was that long. Like if you just did the main story in the game, you could probably get through it pretty quick. Otherwise, it was passable. Like it wasn't great. There was bugs. Once or twice, I'd get like stuck in a wall or something.
Wise?
Or the game would crash completely. What else? There's one mission where it's like it tells you to do one thing, but the description of what it tells you to do doesn't make sense with the reality. Like it just you can only start this mission using this one particular vehicle, but then they give the name of the vehicle, but then when you look at the vehicle list, it's not there. it's like subtext of the vehicle. So I don't know. Maybe it was just me being an idiot, but that's pretty much it for console wise. On PC, my buddy's talked me into getting SAS Factory, which is pretty much just a factory builder game, building lots of conveyor belts, unlocking new technology to get more.
This is why I like having you on the show, because you will play anything.
Oh yeah, I'll play anything. I'll play anything at least once for sure.
If I give you 2 elastic bands and a stick, you'll find a way to play it.
How do I combine them?
Yeah.
And now I have a shotgun.
Yeah. It's like you're all going to die.
So yeah, I've been playing that the last week and a half or so, and it's been fun. We've got a couple of guys that jump on that at the same time, so it's one person will take one project, another person will take another project, and me and my OCD will be trying to fix things that just look messy. So redoing things that other people are doing or vice versa. But luckily the guys I play with, they're pretty good on that. They all seem to have the same affliction.
Don't micromanage me, Chris.
They all seem to have the same affliction.
Learn to delegate your job.
Delegate. Other than that, I don't think I've played anything else. This week was a little bit busy at work. So I got home, got tired, went to bed type thing. So. How about yourself? I saw you were playing more Tsushima.
To no one's surprise, I have been constantly playing it, making it take a lot longer than it probably should. I'm probably within, I'm going to say 40 plus hours, maybe 50. Just loving it still, going through the motions. I just love how different it feels. Like, it's an open world game, but the combat's awesome, and I like doing that as its own thing. Like, I keep coming back to like just wanting to fight with swords. And then on the other side, it's like, well, stealth is fun now that I've what I believe I've unlocked everything. I have every perk now. Like, my rep is maxed, like I'm definitely getting to the end. Like, I could beat it in honestly one more sitting if I wanted to, but I kind of just want to keep exploring, keep finding things, keep doing I can't wait to start. I will probably start a new game plus on this. I like it so much.
Yeah, they added another difficulty too, right?
Lethal difficulty. I might take it. I don't think I'm good enough to do it, but I might take a stab at it. I'm not a guy that typically wants a lot of difficulty. Like, I find you enjoy challenge, where I'm more the guy that like, okay, I have 3 hours to play a game tonight. I don't want to restart the same mission 6 times. So
right.
That's some people take it negatively. Like, I'm saying, oh no, you're stupid for playing hard. I'm like, not at all. It's just in my own life. I want to get through the story, and I don't want to just repeat the same thing. I have a very small kill switch, and if it gets triggered, I'll cut that game out.
Yeah, me, I tried to judge the game based off of reviews and decisions that other people have said and things that they've said about the games, and see if it's a game that I think I would play twice. So it's like, if, for instance, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that game's so massive. I don't think I played that one on hard mode. Would I have played it? I probably would have, but there wasn't an incentive to, where like sometimes there's a trophy related to it. So it's like, I'll just start there. Whereas like, for instance, like Resident Evil 2, I fell in love with that game after the first hour. So I'm like, I don't even care what difficulty I'm on. I'm going to be playing this game 7 times. So I'll enjoy it that many more times.
Yeah. I'm
feeling that for Ghost of Tsushima. I started on hard mode. It's definitely tough. But I could already tell that I would even play it on the next difficulty even. I'm getting that impression anyway, if I don't have any other stuff to do. So.
I like it because it is supposed to be harder, but they also mention that like you do more damage as well. Like, you're not going to one-hit kill anyone, but it sounds like you still are also a little more realistic, like in terms of the damage you output. So I don't know. I'm going to probably try that as well, but I just want to keep continuing it. Definitely my game of the year still. It's honestly probably I think I talked to this about with another friend. If you were to tell me, and I don't know why anyone would ask me this, but like, give me your top 3 open worlds in this current console generation, I would say, Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that would be my pick as well.
Because like, I love the Assassin's Creed, don't get me wrong, but they're not Tsushima level.
No. And they are a little bit more copy and paste.
Yes.
Red Dead was a little bit more empty, but it just had that aesthetic where it's like, it was fun to kind of just walk down a path on your horse type thing.
Yeah.
And see things
and they had some good side quests and stuff that you could get into.
Oh yeah, lots of side quests.
Where Assassin's Creed, not really.
Yeah. And Witcher was just full of everything.
Oh,
so
Witcher is the perfect open world
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. Even the DLCs too.
But yeah, that's all I really played. So I don't know. I'm not the platinum guy, but as long as I don't get bored of it, I think I might actually try for it.
I think it's got a pretty high percentage of people who already have the platinum.
They definitely made it attainable.
Yeah, not as obtainable as like Spider-Man's. Like everybody has that one.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
that was actually my first like legit one as well.
yeah,
That wasn't like a Telltale game.
yeah.
Oh, you beat the Wolf Among Us. Here's a platinum.
Yeah, true. One where you actually have to put a little more effort into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we're all caught up, I say we jump right into the news. We have the 7 articles, so as numerical order dictates, we're going to Article 1.
Article number 1, PS4 reaches new milestone.
Coming straight from the recent Sony earnings report, PlayStation sales have now reached over 112 million units sold.
Woo.
Although PS4 sales are down from last year from the same period, it's important to keep in mind the console was originally released on November 15th, 2013, and presumably its console successor will be releasing November this year as well. We have no confirmation if the PS5 will launch on that date or not, but official word on that should land sometime later this month according to recent rumors. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, that seems like a high number. I don't know what the comparison would be for like the Xbox, but that seems like a pretty good number.
Xbox will never release those numbers.
No.
I've heard rumors, and again, they're rumors / like people thinking they know, but I've heard anywhere from 30 to 40.
Yeah.
But it's low. Like,
I'd be curious to know too, like how many people actually went and got the Pro. Like how many people actually went and upgraded to that system. I know most of the people that I know in my circle did get the Pro. So,
yeah.
So most people got 2 systems.
And I was one of the most outspoken against it, but then as soon as you're like, well, this thing sounds like A, it's going to take off soon.
Right.
B, it's not working. And now what am I 2 years later and my Pro's doing the same thing?
Oh yeah. And I'm already nervous too because I read some sort of just a random article some guy wrote where he's talking about like, well, you know, we got the PS5 and we got the PS5 digital, but we haven't heard news yet about the Pro. I'm like, Pro? What? Why? What? Like, isn't the new system pretty much a Pro? Like, it's already got high tech stuff in it. So, like,
Well,
shut the hell up, guy.
I wouldn't mind if they did, the separate SKUs where it's always been rumored for both of them. Microsoft had a few people saying Series X is going to be the Pro, and then they'd have a Series S at launch.
Right.
Now it seems more like everyone's doing the full and then the digital. And then, there could be a Pro, but you're right. Like, let's not talk about the Pro now then. Honestly, I'm okay with never having a Pro, but I would have liked a more powerful version, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would have paid the money.
Yeah, I would get it if it existed, but don't tell me that this is going to come out on whatever date it comes out, and then 3 months later, then they're going to be like, okay, Pro's ready. I'd be like,
what was it, like 3 years before the Pro came out on the PS4 life cycle?
Like, how long did it take for the Pro to come out?
Yeah.
How long has the system been out? 7 years?
Yes. So, the Pro's been out for like 4 years then, ish, almost. And so, I mean, if we can expect that 3 years later we're going to have to buy another console, it's a little, like, disheartening.
Yeah. Like 4 years. Depends on the system. If it's a system that's bad and keeps dying on people, then sure, give us a Pro.
Yeah.
And I mean, PlayStation's definitely one that's had different models, right? The PS3 had like the 40 gig hard drive one, the 60 gig, 80 gig.
Yeah.
I think there was like a 250 gig.
Eventually.
Probably a couple other gigs in there.
Yeah.
So it's,
well, the PS3, had a ridiculous amount of models by then. They had the Slim.
there's like almost 7 or 8 different SKUs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, this is it's good to hear. You want the company to do well, so, and they seem to be doing well because they're giving us a pretty good lineup for the next console. I mean, not the best games by my standards, but they're giving a lot more variety, that's for sure.
It's probably better than the PS4.
Yeah, when PS4 launched, PS3 launched, I was playing the previous gen system games for quite a while.
Until
This
Witcher 3,
Yeah.
for me anyway.
This one, I'm almost like, based with all the free upgrades that games are going to be giving, I'm like, I can actually see myself having the PS5 and actually using it.
Oh, yeah,
right away.
Cyberpunk,
Yeah.
Valhalla,
Yep.
Miles Morales.
Yeah.
I mean, that's three
other-
games I didn't have. with
The other
PS4.
Spider-Man getting
Oh, yeah,
upgraded.
that's true
So
too,
it's
yeah.
like that's a good selection to start with.
Oh, I might wait. We'll see what my schedule looks like, but I might wait for Legion, Watch Dogs Legions to just play it, day one on the better.
So I can easily see myself turning that thing on and actually using it right from day one.
Yeah.
And maybe not necessarily going back to the PS4 as much. We'll see.
Article 2. Another state of play has come, and people are upset.
Are you eagerly waiting more PS5 news? Us too. Unfortunately for us, PlayStation's recently revealed State of Play, which aired this Thursday, August 6th, has come out in front of the gun and stated that the show would contain nothing new for the beloved next-gen console. Instead, the showcase would feature developers currently working hard on titles for the current PS4 console, as well as VR titles we could see released this year. People have already made their grievances clear online, though, expressing frustration with the company's continued silence on the PS5, with the suspected release being a mere 3 months away. Luckily for us, the reports appear to indicate that more PS5 news could make it our way before the end of the month.
So, Chris, how did you feel with this new state of play? Were you upset of the lack of PS5 console details, lack of PS5 gameplay shown, other than, I think, what was that one called again? Godfall?
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple things, like I sent you a couple texts during the show that looked interesting. It was kind of actually the more the VR stuff for me, which is not something I usually use that much. And then the control one, which I thought was kind of cool, but there wasn't a heck of a lot that some of them were sequels, some of them were games that are kind of out sort of already, and then they're getting kind of remastered. It kind of felt like the Xbox One, actually, now that I think back on it, but there wasn't too much there that really piqued my interest. I don't think there was anything I saw that was like, I need to have that type thing. I don't know. How about yourself?
I was actually surprised. I think I liked that they came out in front of it. They did say, look, we're not going to be talking about PS5 console, really. Don't expect all this like reveal stuff that we're just foaming at the mouth for. So I appreciated that. But then I was actually surprised. Once they got away from it, I think I had a very negative opinion. And then they hit it, the video starts going, and suddenly I'm seeing not a lot. Like, there's a lot of indies, and that doesn't totally interest me most of the time. But there was a few things that did, like Hitman VR. We got the RPG looked really interesting to me. We'll go through the list a little more detailed later. We're just talking our impressions right now. But yeah, I was actually surprised. Like you said, the Controls DLC. One day I do intend to get to that game. Probably when the PS5 comes out, so maybe it could actually handle it, not chug so much, like I've heard people tell me. But and then yeah, I did enjoy the Godfall stuff. Like, at least they had something that really spoke to me. So I think I prepped myself for the worst thing possible. They came in, medium rare, and it was good enough. Would I prefer a PS5 thing? Yeah, I find it a little weird that you're 3 months away from, like, the RIP PlayStation 4. And like, in all honesty, it's going to continue to sell. It's going to continue to do well in game sales. But everybody just wants to talk about PS5.
I do like how they presented it too, like kind of with like a sliding show of each game type thing. I thought that was kind of neat. And I mean, when you want straight to the point, it was straight to the point, which is also nice too. So I guess we can go through the games, I guess, now.
Sure.
So the State of Play happened, and here's our thoughts on that. So the first one that they revealed was Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. We had seen something about this before, I think. So this is also being done by the Toys for Bob company, which I recently just played their Spyro Reignited, and they did a really good job of sprucing that game up. So I know they can definitely put a good effort into this game and make it look good, especially when this one's going to be a new one too. So I've never been a Crash guy, so I already know that it's not something I'm going to get.
Yeah, I'm not.
I was the Spyro guy, not the Crash one. So.
I'm just not into platformers.
Yeah, this one's very much a platformer, which it's always been. But, I mean, it did look fine. I'm sure fans will like it. There's a couple different game modes that they're going to do, like different art styles.
I respected the art styles.
Inverted and a couple other characters you can play as now, which is kind of neat. So The second game they showed was the Hitman 3, which is also another game we've seen some stuff about. But this one was specifically the PlayStation VR mode in first-person perspective. I was kind of giggling in excitement when I saw this because I'm like, this looks really neat. I'm kind of excited to do this.
I would try it for sure.
But the thing I remember with Hitman, though, is I often use the third-person camera to my advantage in that game, where you're peeking around corners without actually having... Now you actually legit have to peek. So it's kind of neat too, but then you also have to kind of watch your butt a little bit more.
Yeah,
so,
I could see a lot of people walking backwards, turning around multiple times.
Yeah, and I thought they made a comment that the first 2 Hitmans were also going to be compatible with the VR. Unless I caught that wrong. All 3 games' content will support the mode.
Wow.
Yes, you'll be able to do every single mission in VR from the previous 2 games. So yeah, that's kind of neat, especially if it's just like, I wonder how it works with the other 2, if they just get an update that makes it VR compatible or not. So that one looked interesting. I already have the first one, so that's kind of exciting. The next one that was shown was Braid, the Anniversary Edition. So I definitely played this game back on Xbox 360. I can't remember. I assume this came out on PlayStation, but I can't remember if it did. But I know I played this game on the 360, and it was pretty fun. With the time controlling and raising platforms, you screw up, so you rewind time to redo it. And did you ever play that one or no?
No, this one was never even on my radar.
No, this one was on my radar just because I think it was like a cheap Xbox 360 digital download type game. So, but once again, it's an anniversary edition, so it's, I don't know, it looks just like a more spruced up game. They improved the graphics, the controls, all that kind of stuff, and whatnot. And I can't remember if it ever was on PS4, so or PS in general. So I mean, it was fun. But yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like they got to price it right, or else nobody's gonna get it.
The Pathless.
Yeah, the next one was the Pathless. It was shown with gameplay captured on the PS5. Mythic adventure game set in a forest. It features a creative archery mechanic.
I did not like anything I saw. This game is not for me, and that's okay. I'm not even going to denounce it or anything like that. It's fine. It's for someone. It almost seems like Zelda Breath of the Wild, like Dance Dance Revolution. It's because it's a rhythm game.
Is it?
Well, you have to hit those things to keep the dashing, and it's just seemed really weird. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this.
I kind of like puzzle games. This one seems sort of puzzle-like, but it's definitely not one that grabbed my attention at all.
No, I just thought I know they're trying to work on like the darkness and the light, but then when you're in the darkness, it just seemed very boring looking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get locked in that. I know later you get the light back and it will look different, but yeah, I don't know. It just, at least what I saw today, and being rhythm-ish, like I don't know I
think I'll have to watch a couple people actually play it to see if it's worth value, because watching what I saw, there's nothing there that, like, some of the boss looked kind of unique, but then you had to do this other side objective before you could take on the boss. So I was like, okay, whatever. After that was Spelunky 2. Did you play the first one? Because
No,
I didn't.
Never played this, but I will say, although I'm usually not an indie guy, I'm like, this is something me and Chris could play and have fun.
Yeah, it is one of those games that you could easily just turn on and play.
Bored as all heck. We have nothing else to do. Kind of like that day we did Overcooked.
Yeah.
I could see us doing that.
It's a perfect game for that sort of style. I never played the first one. I heard people mention it before, so, and I've seen like ads and stuff for it, so I assume it did well. I think it did well.
Well enough to get a sequel.
I guess so, yeah. Unless the creator guy is just...
He's like, I second remortgage this house. You better fucking buy it.
The next one was Aeon Must Die. Just reading this, I don't remember what it was, so I'm going to have to read it out loud. Games by Limestone Games and Focus Home Interactive.
Oh, that was that combat one where you're like this god or something, and you're fighting all those other weird guys, and it just seemed like a weird old school brawler.
It includes vehicular sequence and plenty of demonic enemies. Morning cartoon aesthetic. I'm not remembering this one.
It looked very like, almost kind of like Godfall, but old style brawler, beat 'em up, like you're on a 2D thing.
Yes, it does ring a bell now.
And almost like Warframe aesthetic wise.
Yeah. It's not I don't think that's something I would.
Yeah, that's just
as
not
a
for
kid.
me.
Yeah, I would. I played
Yeah.
a lot of those, like the old not Street Fighters, Double Dragons and
Yes,
stuff like that.
Double Dragons.
And there was another one.
It was a
I'm
go.
trying to remember the one I had for. Was it Super Nintendo?
I remember the Simpson ones.
There's
in
some
arcade.
goofy. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Simpsons ones. I'm trying to remember Wildcats. I think that's what I had. Was that Super Nintendo or PlayStation?
Battletoads.
It was like
the one.
5 characters or something. Ah, good times.
Yeah.
But could I go back into that mode? Yeah.
No.
I think I'm done with that.
Yeah.
After that was Anno Mutationum, an adventure game featuring 2D, 3D segments and a unique mix of pixel and 3D art. It's an intense melee-focused adventure, and it looks to put a heavy emphasis on story. This is another one I'm not remembering.
I remember it. Remember she's running and it's pixelated, and that's all they really showed. She just kept running different directions, and it was like pixel art. And the only reason I remember this is because I had the thought in my head, and I remember the thought more than the game. And I'm like, why do people think that pixels are art? You know, like I don't get it for the life of me. That we only did that because we didn't have the technology to move forward to what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that'd be like me telling you, like, Chris, 480p is art. It's not fucking art. It's a limited technology.
Limitations.
I hate that. People love pixel art, and I don't understand it. I don't.
On to the next one that was a little bit bigger, I guess, in a sense. Bug Snacks. So they showed this one on their main show a while back. They showed a little bit more in this one, but what they showed to me was nothing. I'm trying to think, like
what they showed to me is they're like, hey, Nintendo doesn't have just kids games. We have them too.
Yeah.
And your child will really enjoy this new console.
And then they kind of show like a darker aspect to the game too, like with the bad guy, the villain kind of seems like.
Did they show him this time though? I don't
They
remember.
didn't show him, but
yeah.
they showed someone that I'm assuming is going to be working with him or something.
Oh, okay.
But who knows?
But it looked, I don't know, it made me feel like Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, I saw the
meets
pictures.
Another kind of genre, and I'm like, okay, like obviously we're not playing this, but I also don't think this game was made to speak to us.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it's very much like what Nax was. This is, call it Nax 3 for honestly. Like,
yeah.
It's just, you know, hey, your kid's got something to do. We're not just going to give them, you know, these R-rated games.
Yeah.
Not that we have many of those either.
Well, we'll see what happens when it comes out. It seems like they're putting a little bit more oomph behind it. So
if you don't want your kid being a timeless sex goblin in Cyberpunk, you know, now you have this, right?
Yeah, eating bugs that look like food.
Yeah.
After that was the Star Wars Vader Immortal. Who doesn't like waving around a lightsaber and doing like force powers and stuff like that?
I don't have a VR unit, but like I would be very interested in coming to your place and actually trying this. This speaks to me.
Yeah, and the only thing I noticed, it seemed sort of, I don't know if it was just because it was the trailer for the game, but it seemed almost not sluggish, but not fast either. It's like I kind of want it to be fast in a duel, but then I guess
I was okay with it because to me it was like, oh, the original trilogy when everyone was really slow with their lightsaber.
Yeah, it actually makes sense now that I think about it. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for Star Wars. After that was the game Control. They're going to be releasing some DLC for it. This one kind of got me more excited just because I just finished playing Control. And this one looks interesting because it looks like they're going to be combining a lot more with Alan Wake. I don't know if you caught that. Maybe you didn't.
I never did because I never played Alan Wake.
Yeah, so it looks like this one's going to be merging a lot more with it because they, at the very end, I think the last shot, they show Alan Wake, but he's like, you could tell he's like a little bit older and he's got like a beard and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, that's Alan Wake. I'm like, and then the title screen, I think it had like the top part looked like Alan Wake and the bottom was Control. So I'm kind of excited because I really enjoyed Alan Wake and I enjoyed Control. So we'll have to see how that one turns out. After that, we have the Pedestrian, a quirky platforming game that makes use of signs and pictures, and you, I guess, can move the pictures around, and then your character can jump from one picture to another picture. It's very puzzle game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I usually like that sort of stuff. So like one of the big ones, I like those Hitman and Lara Croft. What were they called? Lara Croft Go.
Yeah. They're
like puzzle piece games. Those ones were fun. So this one kind of looks very similar to that. You could play as like the
pedestrian
on those signs, I guess. Right.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It aesthetically looked okay.
It's 2021.
I just like those aren't for me usually. If this game was like my PlayStation Now of the month, I might try it.
So after the pedestrian, we have Hood, Outlaws and Legends.
I like the idea of this.
I'll let you talk about it.
I don't know. It looked very much. I don't even know what you want to say. It almost seems like an open. It doesn't seem open world to me. It looks almost like I don't even know what the hell it looks like. It seems like its own genre-defined thing. Where
medieval siege.
Well, but I don't know if I interpreted this wrong, but in my opinion, it looked like you had a squad of people. So I don't know if they're your friends or AI, but then you have to fight other squads of people while also at the same time.
It reminded me of like
robbing things.
For Honor.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I would say For Honor
without NPCs.
Yeah. So I that's a good one. I'll go with that one. So yeah, it seems very much like For Honor, but not even like it seemed, and I don't know, I could be right or wrong, but like if it's only going to be 2 groups of 4 fighting over something, and that'd be where it's a little different than For Honor. Or if there's going to be 3 parties of 4 and they're all fighting for the same loot, like I don't know. It looks interesting. I definitely need to see more. Like you know, us just talking about how we don't know what it is kind of a problem with the messaging, I'd say.
Yeah. I'm interested.
I like the idea of
if it's just a pure PvP, I'm usually less interested myself. But
yeah.
Even if it's against AI, I'm not seeing the motivation as much, but we'll see.
But here's the showstopper for you. We got Temtem on PS5.
Temtem on PS5. So apparently it's been out on early access for PC. I don't know if it's officially launched yet. I don't think it is.
I don't know of it, but maybe.
But apparently people are saying it's really good. Like this is what Pokemon should be or should have been.
Yes.
So I've been hearing good things from few people. Nobody I know that plays it, but
I've been tempted to pick it up on Steam a couple, especially when it's early access and it's so cheap.
Yeah, it looked pretty good, and it sounds like they're getting into a more stable state so that they can put it on a console. So I'm kind of interested to see how this one will work. The fact that it's an MMO Pokemon game, I mean, that seems pretty fun to maybe play with your friends. So I don't know how the battle system works or anything, but it sounds like a pretty cool game.
Mm-hmm.
There was also one that I missed earlier, Auto Chess. Moving on, we have Godfall, which was the final announcement.
There was a deep dive into Godfall, and that showed a little more gameplay, some of the weapon mechanics.
Godfall looked better.
It looks like
I'm still on the fence
that I'm going to probably get when I'm bored.
Yeah,
I don't. Nothing about it says day one for me, but
it reminds me of a lot of other games.
I think what's selling me on it, and I'm sorry to cut you off, is just I could play this with Chris, and it seems it's not, but it seems a little like it's going to be more tactical, like Dark Souls-ish, where you're dodging, you're parrying, you're timing your move, you're using your combos, and then if I can do that with you and just have a okay time, that's good enough.
Yeah,
for those board periods.
Yeah, that's exactly where I see my value coming from.
Because if you told me, Steve, this is single player only, $80, are you picking it up? No.
Yeah, it reminds me of I'm trying to remember what the game was. I think it was for Xbox. Does this sound like a game? Too Human?
Yeah, I've heard that name before. Yeah,
and I'm trying to think if this is the right game. Like it was like Mythical Odin, I think, something like that. Unless I'm remembering it wrong. It reminded me of that game. Obviously, this one's going to be way more polished and whatnot, but I had flashes of those types of games and a couple of other Soul-like games. So I don't know. I'm like, the combat looked fun, but then again, it's like, I don't know. It's something deep down. It's like holding me back.
The thing, the siren going off for me is I'm not a Gearbox fan.
Gearbox is the Borderlands series, right?
Yeah, and I really dislike those games.
I liked the first one. The other two were so big, and I just couldn't get into them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. It's just, it's like this one kind of also like the Avengers one. There's something about it that's appealing, and then there's something about it that's holding me back on it. And I don't know what it is yet, but I just have a feeling deep down that there's an anthem buried deep under there somewhere. And I don't want it to be, but something there.
I don't think I don't know, at least, well, yeah, maybe they haven't actually talked about the looting slasher, but We also forgot Genshin Impact.
Yeah, I guess the list I had didn't have everything. Yeah, Genshin Impact, a new RPG. Well, to me, it looked like something I've seen before, but it's a new kind of anime style, Japanese RPG style game. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised because at first I'm like, oh, is this going to be an indie or like a mobile-ish looking game? And then they kept going. I'm like, okay, you're not telling me the features. You're not telling me what I'm going to be doing here. Quite a bit of it looked interesting because it seemed like certain characters had abilities that would affect your gameplay, like the one kid freezing water and then walking on it.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, that would change, but is a game going to be like, okay, you have to be in for this section, and then that's not going to be that special anymore? So I have a lot of questions. I do want to see more, but that one actually was a surprise hit for me. I'm going to be looking into that more.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it too. I mean, it looked fine. So that's pretty much it for the whole show. I mean, it was quick. I think it was like 40 minutes?
Yep.
Yeah. And they definitely, PlayStation's kind of, to me, doing the shotgun approach. They're trying to hit every demographic.
Yes.
The only thing that wasn't there really was like a racing game or something.
True.
So actually, now that I think back, I don't think any of them really have had any racing games. Oh yeah, I guess Gran Turismo if you want the super serious racing game for sure. But yeah, it seems like they're trying to hit every type of demographic possible.
Yeah.
So I'd say they're doing a pretty good job. Godfall certainly takes the cake for the more hardcore players, gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Temtem, I mean, whatever. It's Pokemon, so you're going to hit a shit ton of people there.
Well, yeah, you got Temtem and Bugsnax.
Bugsnax for younger.
Same, generation, I think.
You got the VR market with Star Wars, who doesn't want to wave a lightsaber around.
And
Hitman,
all
which
three,
seems unique.
so
yeah. And then you got some puzzle ones.
indies.
Yep. And then Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, you can hit. They hit everything. So,
honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I'd say they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm happier with this than Xboxes.
Oh, yeah. I'm happier with this one than Xbox. And maybe I'm feeling a little bit more Sony bias than that, but it seemed...
I think it's just because they told me, hey, don't expect anything. So at first I was like, well, this is
they
going to
brought
suck.
the bar. Sony knows where to set the bar right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, don't expect a God of War 2. Like, it's not going to be happening in this show. So it's like, okay, you set the bar right. Whereas Xbox they tried to set the bar so high with the Halo, and then they kind of, fell on their face a little bit with that one, with some issues. But yeah, overall, it was pretty good.
Okay, Article 3. Our next PS5 showcase will happen this month, hopefully. According to a recent article from Bloomberg, there was an official at PlayStation who preferred to remain anonymous, who gave us some insight on what we could expect from Sony in the upcoming month. The Sony official suggests we could see PlayStation's next showcase before the end of August, where it's believed we would hear from some more developers and possibly finally get a release date and price for the next-gen console. It's important to keep in mind, none of these statements are confirmed or set in stone, so anything could change on a weekly basis, but here's to hoping we hear something soon. So this is kind of going on our previous conversation about how some people online were very upset that we didn't get any PlayStation news for the PlayStation 5, I should say. But then, yeah, we kind of got this. So now it sounds like, yeah, we got not what people were looking for in the state of play, even though we were kind of happy with it. But hey, look forward to later in the month, kind of like we've been talking about this whole time. They've got to do something. We're down to like a little under 3 months.
Yeah.
Something has to happen, and it has to happen soon.
You have to give people at least a few months to start saving up money and whatnot, right?
Exactly.
Some people are going to want it day one. Even non-hardcore people, people are going to be interested and they're going to want it.
Well, there's a huge demand for stuff you can do at home right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because of the way the world is, and that's why they've also doubled production. They know it's going to sell well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, some rumors are speculating that, who knows how they go off it, but there's people online that are crunching the numbers based on what I don't know, apparently polls and whatnot, and they're already suggesting that PlayStation could sell 3 to 4 times more than at Microsoft right now, just with how things are sitting. So, yeah, I don't know, but either way, I am confident we're finally going to understand something by the end of this month.
I can't remember, I thought we made a prediction that it would be probably the end of August before we get a price.
I think I failed. I think I said early August. You said late August.
Yeah, so I still have a chance.
But yeah, that's not a lot of news. So we're going on to Article 4, your friendly neighborhood villain.
In a major power move, Sony has announced this past week that none other than everyone's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man would be making an appearance in Crystal Dynamics' developed Marvel's Avengers title. Appearance might be putting it lightly, though, as it was later confirmed by Crystal Dynamics head Scott Amos that Spider-Man is an entirely playable character that would only be available for the PS4, PS5 versions of the upcoming game. He went on to elaborate that Spider-Man, this is in quotes, is the only character that we are doing that way. He added that this particular PlayStation exclusive deal was a unique opportunity for us because of the relationship that PlayStation and Marvel have. Unsurprisingly, people have gathered to express their frustrations with the developer's decision, with comments flooding major game news sites as well by the way of Twitter. Adding fuel to the fire, it was later announced by Crystal Dynamics that PlayStation versions of the game would also see a 30-day exclusive access to a legendary outfit, legendary emote, epic takedown, and nameplate for each superhero as they are released. Just making a side note, that all sounds very much like Destiny. Including characters like Hawkeye, the first post-launch arrival, and the day one cast. Certain community challenges, shared goals with shared rewards, will be exclusive to PlayStation as well. As for PlayStation Plus rewards, as well as for each superhero added to the game post-launch, Hawkeye included, all PS Plus members will receive a free bundle that contains a rare outfit, I don't know why I keep saying outfit, nameplate, and 100 credits to celebrate the addition of another Avenger to the roster. Regardless of how this news makes you feel about a console exclusive character or timed 30-day exclusive game content, it would appear that Sony and Crystal Dynamics have a pretty big contract together with this game. We've also since read up too that it sounds like the deal was made primarily by Marvel, actually.
Yeah.
So it's not something that was specific for necessarily Sony or Crystal Dynamics. So
well, all three were involved
Yes.
from the understanding.
But Marvel's the one who wanted it done.
Well, want's a strong word, but they allowed it. They are the final word in that kind of topic where they're basically like they have game rights, I guess is how I should say this. They have all the game rights. So if you go, there's I can't remember what it's called, but there is a mobile Marvel game. Spider-Man's right on the cover of the app. So it's just like Marvel has the gaming rights. It's so if there are a lot of people like you talked about before trying to blame Sony or they're trying to blame Crystal Dynamics. You know, when it's all said and done, Marvel got to make the decision.
Mm-hmm. They had the final axing opportunity if they wanted to or not.
Exactly. And like, I guess people could still try to like be upset because I'm sure Sony, you know, tried to get this. I'm sure Crystal Dynamics was pressured into trying to do this as well.
Yeah, from up top.
So yeah, you could try to blame Sony, but really, like, why wouldn't they try to do this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you have, and not everyone does, but when you have quite a few people that I know personally that have multiple consoles, you know, there's some people that have Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, all of them. They're just trying to make that person decide PlayStation-wise. Yeah.
And I mean, we've seen this sort of in other games. I mean, not the permanent aspect of it. You see more timed releases. This might be, I'm trying to think, seems very permanent. Like they're not, it doesn't sound like he's ever going to come anywhere else.
Do you want to go deep into my past of pain?
Pain?
Yes. I was a little boy when Soul Calibur 2 came out.
Oh, yes.
And what was I treated to as my special console character? The idiot from frickin' Tekken. I didn't want to play him. I don't even know his name because I'm not a Tekken guy. All I know is I wasn't happy because Xbox got freaking Spawn, which is awesome.
Yep.
Nintendo got Link, which I don't care about, but I know some people would die for. And it's just like, yeah, and I get the Tekken guy. So this has happened before. People need to put on their big boy pants.
Yeah, I forgot about those.
You know, I'm going to take a hard take, but I don't care. I think this is a smart business move.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with this 100%. And would it suck if Microsoft did the same thing? Let's say they get the Hulk exclusively because he's green. Xbox is green. He gets the Hulk. It's not happening, but let's go theoretics here. Would I be like, oh, damn, I can't be the Hulk? Yeah, probably. But I also wouldn't like burn my church down.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's just, it's business.
And it makes sense too because Sony is like Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Movies wise.
Yeah, movie wise. But, you know, Marvel also gave them the game right.
Yeah.
So for the Spider-Man title to be exclusive. So I'm just like, Yeah, it just kind of keeps making sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's what I would say that sucks is that like now Xbox doesn't get anything. Like I think in fairness, I would have liked to seen them get like, you know, give them Hawkeye or some other cool character. I don't know.
The advantage is everybody should go buy a PlayStation because you can get all Xbox games on PC.
Yeah, I mean,
There you go.
you know, I'm trying to be somewhat neutral, but I'm like, yeah, it's just like this doesn't bother me. I cannot believe how upset people are online about this.
Oh yeah, they'll get upset about anything though.
That's true.
We've gotten upset about stupid things too. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
When we know how to turn it on, we turn it on. Moving on to article number 5. We're going shopping.
Looks like Sony has updated their PlayStation blog with some new information on how Sony plans to move forward with your old PS4 peripherals. According to the blog post, we got word that officially licensed PS4 products will most likely work with the PS5. Though a few minor notes about the PS4 camera suggest that you would need an adapter which, quote, will be provided at no additional cost to PSVR users. Though they didn't go into further detail about how we would receive them. On top of all that, they also discussed that your current controller would in fact work on the PS5, but only while playing your previous gen titles. With the switch to the new DualSense controller, the future PS5 titles will be taking advantage of the haptic feedback the controller offers, and thus is why you will have to purchase a new set of controllers if you'd like to play the next-gen titles on your next-gen console.
I've been seeing some extremes to this. Some people are like losing their mind over my previous controllers won't work on the new system. What the hell? And I'm like, and in my head, I'm like,
every time.
It happens pretty well every time.
If you're shocked by this news, you might only be 7 years old.
And then the thing is like when you buy the PS5, you get a controller with it, like it's included. So it's not like you're going to get one. So I don't know why people.
I think it's just people that want, like, you know, I assume people that have multiple controllers that like playing with friends, even though I can't imagine what game nowadays even lets you. But let's say it's them. But I just like, don't you want to take advantage of this stuff?
Like the controller sounds freaking wicked.
Because if you don't play the PlayStation 5 game that takes advantage of all these new things, then you're playing backwards compatibility. And in that case, your game's going to work, your controller's going to work fine anyway.
I'm curious, though, what they mean by only while playing your previous gen titles. Do they mean like any of the digital downloaded games that you would have from before? Do they mean the games that had the free upgrade?
Anything working backwards compatible.
Yeah, but they haven't clarified what that means anyway yet. Like, are they saying Cyberpunk?
I would assume that will work.
Are you sure? Because that's a free upgrade to PS5.
Yeah, but it's not going to take advantage of the haptic feedback, from my understanding.
Oh, it might. I don't know.
It might, but it's also going to like support previous PS4 controller function.
I mean, I've gone through this every year. Like, I mean, every time, or not every year, but every generation. It's like, I mean, I've probably owned like 7 or 8 PS4 controllers, no jokes.
And honestly, it's not a big deal to me because it's been 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay buying some new stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm buying a new console. It's like, whatever.
That's typically, I buy the new console, and I usually get 2 controllers.
Yep.
Because not because I play with people, but because when the one battery dies out, I have a replacement.
Well, funny, I don't know why this happened, but PS4 actually released the camera and controllers before the console.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually, for like a month, and I remember like being a creeper, but I just remember holding this controller and being like, one day I can use you. Moving on. Article 6, Rocksteady confirms their next project.
Coming from the official Rocksteady Studios Twitter page, we were treated to a promotional image for their next big game release. Surprising no one, the image confirmed Rocksteady has been working on a game centered on the DC universe, more specifically, the Suicide Squad. The image in question has everyone's favorite Superman in crosshairs that spell out Suicide Squad. The update seems to justify recent rumors that Rocksteady was developing a Suicide Squad game, which would have you playing as members from a list of DC villains, with the goal of working towards killing members of the Justice League. However, the image is the only thing we got, and nothing was revealed for the full game title, or release date for that matter. We can look forward to more details emerging from the scheduled DC fandom event on August 22nd.
So yeah, small news, but kind of big news in the sense that it's like, okay, this is the first time they've opened up in what feels like 5 or 6 years now. about what the heck they've been doing. I still hold on to the previous rumors that they were trying to make a Superman game, scrapped it, and then start over with this Suicide Squad idea. I think we talked about this before.
Yes.
The movie has set my tone to I have no excitement for this.
Negative, yeah.
And who knows, like a video could come up online and it blows our minds because I do have faith in Rocksteady. I just don't have faith in that property.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything you just said. Rocksteady's got some great games. If anybody can pull it off, it'll be them. Suicide Squad, my interest level's negligible.
Yeah.
I don't. Am I positive? Am I negative? I just don't care.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things, and I know I am kind of happy because we did pick up on this story a couple weeks ago, maybe even longer ago, that this was kind of being rumored. So kudos to us.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's no information, right? I mean, they aren't even showing it in any of the showcases that we've seen so far from Xbox or PlayStation. So if I had to guess, I would say it's probably 2022, maybe 2021. Maybe.
It's just like, it's sad because I'm like, I would rather hear from Montreal on like, hey, we're working on that Batman game still, Court of Owls, or what people rumor it to be. I'm like, I want to hear more about that than Rocksteady's game, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to more Last of Us Part 2 leaks have been released.
Game studio Naughty Dog is no stranger to leaks, and continuing on the bad trend, it looks like they are a victim to leaks once yet again. This leak appeared as a video online. The video appears to be an online component of the game, most likely an updated version of the multiplayer mode from the original Last of Us game, which was titled Faction Mode. As of recording, we have no official word from Sony or Naughty Dog, but rumors that popped up previous to the game's launch have mentioned that the multiplayer was intended to launch day and date with the Last of Us Part 2, but had to be taken out and worked on further. There is no information on whether the faction mode will be released as a free update or add-on or a separate purchase altogether. We will just have to wait and see. What are your thoughts?
They better dare not charge for it as a separate purchase.
Yes.
Like, don't say it was intended to come out on launch.
Well, they never officially, that was all rumors.
Yeah, it was rumors. It was all rumors, but I mean, we knew it was gonna have. It was supposed to have multiplayer.
Because my fear is like they could do it as like not DLC, but kind of DLC. So then it's like, oh, buy this like $20 multiplayer pack, and we'll give you all this stuff. And
the thing is though, I don't think The Last of Us. I mean, the first one had multiplayer, but I don't think people ever played The Last of Us for the multiplayer.
There's actually a lot of people that really like the multiplayer.
Really?
I know.
I mean,
people.
I enjoyed it, but I just did it for the trophy, and then I never looked back. So, but it was fine. Like, there was nothing wrong with it. It was good with what it was, but it didn't have a lot of variety at the time either.
Yeah,
it had fairly team deathmatch basic.
Well, it was back in a time where everything had to have multiplayer.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, I don't know. This might already be too late now. That's the thing, is like a lot of people might be done with the game.
I've already deleted off my console.
Oh, mine's gone too. Like, yeah. I got what I wanted out of it. It's done. I don't have any intention. I don't have any intention of hooking it back up and playing multiplayer mode. So I don't know. I mean, we knew this was coming. We knew their intention was to have multiplayer at some point, but I guess this is just a little bit more for people that are really into The Last of Us. Which, I mean, you should be. The first one was a great game. The second one has its problems, but overall, it's still a great game. So, yeah, this multiplayer could give it up another point, maybe, on a review, possibly.
So that's it for our news. Not a long week, but still some pretty insightful stuff here. So we're going to just move on like we always do to your homework. This is a little segment where you, the audience, can just go look the stuff on your own time. Typically we have a limited amount of time here, so you can just go find these articles, a little extra stuff that we think is interesting that you might like. But like I said, we just didn't have time for it. Starting with our first piece of homework, it is God of War director Cory Barlog drops hints about what the PS5 could mean for the sequel. That one's on Games Radar, so you can go look that up.
I'm sure there's people excited for the next God of War.
Just a few.
A couple.
Me included.
Yeah. Game sales are leaning more and more towards digital as Sony reports huge PlayStation Store success. This article can be found on pushsquare.com.
Bethesda announces free next-gen updates for Doom Eternal and Elder Scrolls Online. That's on Game Informer.
There you go, Curtis. That one's for you.
That one's for you, buddy.
Learn more about Cyberpunk 2077 on August 10th with the next new Night City Wire event. The article talking about it, I guess, is Game Informer, but that's when the new event is. So,
and then also, if you want to see the list of games that were talked about and shown on the state of play that we already talked about, you can find that on GameSpot. It's got a good list there for you, so feel free to look that up.
Or you could watch the video on YouTube.
That's true. If you got 40 minutes to spare, I say do it.
Yeah, it may as well just actually see what it is instead of reading about it.
That's true. Reading's just such a dino.
Or listening to a podcast, which is a great place to find information.
It's easier than reading. Trust me. That is it for news articles. That is it for homework. And that is it from us. So until next week on that Monday, don't forget, that is it. And we are signing off.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yay.
Wings, web, wigs, web, wing, wing, swing. I don't know what that means.
But it's in there.
Yes.
That is the first number, unless you count 0. But then we would be done.
0 is the rating my mother would give me. She ranked me out of the 2 sons as 0. I'm like, Mom, this isn't even possible.
That's 1 or 2.
She's like, nope, you're 0.